welcome back to That's Entertainment, the weekly entertainment show. This week, we've been to CinemaCon. One of the major highlights of Cine Europe was Tom Cruise's surprise appearance at the Paramount presentation for the second year in a row. The star was given a standing ovation by those in attendance at Europe's largest cinema trade event and was in a celebratory mood, thanking the exhibitors in the room for their support in helping make Top Gun: Maverick the biggest hit of his 40-year career. The film's remarkable success continued last week when its opening in South Korea helped it become the second film post-COVID to pass $1 billion at the world box office. As Deadline Hollywood's Nancy Tartaglione noted, what's even more impressive about the movie is that it is reaching these hypersonic heights without China or Russia in the mix, and it's pulling in older audiences as well as younger folk who weren't around for the first movie. The film was also in battle to retain its US box office crown for an astonishing fifth week last weekend as it took on Elvis for the top spot. As Variety's Rebecca Rubin pointed out, for Maverick, it's almost unheard of for a movie to generate $30 million in its fifth week of release. It wasn't just Top Gun: Maverick that did well at US cinemas last weekend. Rubin also highlighted the very good news that four movies, Elvis, fellow newcomer Blumhouse thriller The Black Phone, as well as Holdover's Maverick and Universal's Jurassic World Dominion, each grossed $20 million or more, while a fifth, Disney's Pixar film Lightyear, came close at $17 million. Those ticket sales wouldn't be far from pre-COVID projections, and the healthy box office returns come as audiences have reportedly started to feel safer than ever going back to their local cinemas. According to a study by the National Research Group, 88% of moviegoers are very or somewhat confident going back to the movies, marking a new all-time high. Such a strong lineup of current releases will come as a relief to cinema owners worldwide, particularly following on from the International Union of Cinemas announcement at Cine Europe that COVID cost European cinemas at least $20 billion in losses over 2020 to 2021. As UNIC report revealed, enforced theatre closures and COVID-19 restrictions, including capacity limits and masking requirements, meant total revenue losses of at least $20 billion across the industry in the European Union and the UK. The report also highlighted the continued dominance of US studio titles over local language productions in the European theatrical market. In 2021, just 5 films, No Time to Die, Spider-Man, No Way Home, Dune, F9, and Venom: Let There Be Carnage, sold 98 million tickets across the region, around a sixth of the total 589 million admissions recorded by UNIC for that year. Of all the countries across the continent, it was France that has always been the most offensive of its film industry. As the Hollywood Reporter noted, Disney objects to French regulation, which not only enforces a strict 4-month exclusive theatrical window, but also puts a pay TV release ahead of the streaming window. Films go out on pay TV 6 months after their movie bow. This means that if Disney puts a film in French theaters, it has to wait 17 months before streaming it on Disney+. France, uniquely in Europe, has a strict free TV window, meaning studios have to remove new films from streaming platforms for a period, usually between 22 and 36 months following their theatrical release, to allow them to air exclusively on commercial television. For studios looking to use their blockbuster titles to build worldwide streaming business, the French restrictions can disrupt global rollout and marketing plans. For example, Doctor Strange dropped on Disney Plus everywhere on the 22nd of June, 48 days after its US release. Everywhere, that is, except France, where subscribers will have to wait until October 2023. This is the reason behind Disney's announcement that their next animated feature won't be given a theatrical release in France. As Variety reported for Disney, which revealed that Strange World is going to skip its planned November 23 theatrical debut in favor of a launch on Disney+. It's a sign of the lengths the company is willing to go to bolster subscriptions on its streaming service. But France didn't leave the company much choice. The only way to bypass those French rules is to entirely forgo a release in cinemas. All of these rules date back pre-pandemic to a time when 3 months plus was the common theatrical window across the continent, but those times are now gone. As a Hollywood Reporter pointed out recently, studios and exhibitors have found common ground on the length of the theatrical window, long a sticking point in the negotiations. If a 75 to 90-day window was standard practice, now the waiting period between the theatrical release and the online bow is typically between 45 days in the US. We're all in agreement on this, says Tim Richards, CEO of View International. I don't see any more discussion on windowing moving forwards. That made it all the more surprising when Italian Culture Minister Dario Franceschin announced plans for a law making a 98-day theatrical window mandatory for all films, including studio titles. Again, according to The Hollywood Reporter, by forcing the studios to keep their movies in cinemas longer, Franceschi hopes to revive the local industry. It's stupid, really stupid. It's trying to protect one industry, cinema, by destroying another, streaming, said Pierluigi Bernasconi, president of Univideo, a home entertainment lobby group in Italy. In Italy, Bernasconi notes that the top 3 Hollywood productions last year made as much money as the top 150 local Italian titles. Maybe Italy should focus less on telling people where they should watch their movies and more on making films the audience wants to see, he quipped. European markets where theatrical windows are determined on a case-by-case basis, like the UK and Spain, have been among the fastest to bounce back after theatres reopened, suggesting flexibility, not strict regulation, could be the best way forward. Well, I think at the end of the day, people are going to keep trying to push back the window to where it was beforehand. I think the horse has done a bolt here. Tim Richards is basically saying, look, the conversation's done. I think what he's saying is, let's not push it further because we don't want the windows to shrink even further from the 45 to 30-day windows that's being agreed internationally, depending on the film type. So I think they're stuck in the mud now, and I think whatever regulations do come in will probably be struck down, but we'll see. Italy's a bit of an odd market at the moment because it is doing very badly on cinema ticket sales. That's all for this week. It was a fascinating time to be down in Cine Europe. We had lots of conversations with cinemas. We're genuinely seeing a real change in the way that the markets are approaching innovation now. Our prototypes with Nordisk Cinema or Nordisk Biograph in Norway are well underway. We have working relationships with Palace and Vox in the MENA regions. It's an exciting time coming up. Looking forward to getting things back to as near normal as we can over the next few months. That's all for this week. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe below. Remember, we do publish this show both to LinkedIn and to YouTube. That's all for now. See you soon. Bye.